Hey everybody, welcome back to Diva Dads, episode 6. This is
Part
awesome.
2. Take 2.
Oh, really? You're gonna go there straight away? You're just
Yeah.
I tried. He just beat me to it.
awesome. So we have a very special guest this week, and we'll get to Ben here in a little bit. But we have a couple of our regular segments. I will just fall on my sword.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Let us
Come on.
slowly and gradually. Let us enjoy this just a little bit with your technical difficulties. So other than your technical difficulty that's causing us to start this episode over, how was your week, Dana?
My week was actually not bad. My son's gonna come visit tomorrow night through the week. Real excited about that. Yeah, man, just cranking through work and trying to edit Diva Dads and get some cool new stuff. We have podcast audio on the way. That's going to be something that several people have been requesting, so they can listen in their car while they're on their jogs or whatnot. It's going to be really awesome, but that should be within the next week or so. You'll see a post, and all of that stuff will be available for podcasts on Spotify and Stitcher and all that kind of stuff.
I know that sometimes when I have a lot of podcasts built up, I tend to listen to them on 1.5 speed just so that I can get through all that information. And I'm kind of giggling to myself, wondering how we're all going to set up a teensy bit. Awesome. Mike, how was your week? You got some exciting news for you. Not so great for me in my pool time.
Yes. We got an offer on our house and we accepted it. And so house is going to be going. Tried to put in the contract that any TTC member can go swimming. We'll see.
Thank you. And Rodney, how about you?
Oh, I'm living the life. It's summertime, so I spend a lot of time on my couch. It's great.
Perfect. And you got some new awesome bird-covered clothing today that I'm real excited about.
Yeah, so I've got cockatoos along with my flamingos. Flamingos are kind of a staple. They make an appearance every once in a while, but now I got cockatoos to put in the mix, so they're pretty awesome.
So Rodney, last week we talked to Dana a little bit about what he does outside of Diva Dads, even though what he does now is mostly Diva Dads. I know you've already told this to us once, but could you refresh our memories and tell us a little bit about what you do during the day?
All right. So the first time I had a great line because you said, "Who are you in your day job?" And I said, "I am Iron Man."
Okay,
it loses a little bit.
Rodney,
when you have to do it over again. It's fine. Anyway, I am a
princess.
A princess. I am. Anyway, I am a teacher. I teach at SFA Middle School in Bryan, and I teach career and technology classes. They're all on the computer, so this whole digital learning thing was pretty easy for me because that's kind of how I teach my class anyway. Yeah, that's me. And I've got 2 kiddos. I've got Caden, who is about to start 5th grade, and Josie, who is about to be a freshman at Bryan High. And then I've got 2 fur babies and my beautiful wife, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's a good life. That's a good day job too.
Yeah.
How was your week, Adrian?
I'm mentally broken because, we're doing kids camps. This is where we would normally do, hey, this is what's happening in Broadway. But I can't tell you that because I don't know, because I've been working with either 6 to 8-year-olds or 12 to 14-year-olds and their weird twisted brains. So essentially these awesome kid camps, they're going super well. But what we do is we present them this series of fairy tales, and then we allow them to adapt them. And then on Friday at the end of camp, we put together like a 20 to 30 minute show based on their collaboration. And y'all, it's getting weird. With the 6 to 8-year-olds, it's a version of Rumpelstiltskin, but instead of Rumpelstiltskin, his name is Chicky Nuggies. And instead of spinning straw into gold, he turns trash into glitter, which Paul Early's worst nightmare, but he's handling it quite well. He didn't fight that plot point. They're singing, what are they singing? Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. They're singing The Who Are You? Ending with Celebration, which is amazing. Our afternoon, 12 to 14-year-olds, they're doing a version of Hansel and Gretel that has become very dark. Centered around Harry Potter characters, but singing Lost in the Woods from Frozen. There's a lot happening with these stories. And thank goodness for the rest of the staff, Paul and Daniel and Trey and Ben and Carrie, because oof, y'all children. It's hard going from a couple of months of idleness and just interacting with theater people on Zoom to, okay, now show up every morning and, be in charge of 30 children.
Who have been cooped up for the most part. So they're going 110 miles an hour.
Yes. With the 8-year-olds, Ben literally just gave up, sat down, and he said, okay, run. And they chased each other around the stage for a good 10 minutes. But they're having a blast because, like you said, they've been cooped up. This is the first time they've been able to interact with peers, and they're making new friends. Normally we do camps that are about 40 kids in a camp, but now they're just 15. So it's 15 in the morning, and then we spray everything down with bleach, and then we have 15 in the afternoon. And they're making new friends, and it's really fun. But oh, goodness gracious, it's a lot. Which is why it's time for a cocktail.
Oh, yes.
Rodney.
So this is a two-parter, so I'm going to need Dana to work his magic and play my first part video.
Oh, no, his magic hasn't been working out so well for us.
Don't depend on my magic. Here we go, Rodney.
6 slices of bacon, 1 tablespoon of chili powder, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. Mix it up and spread it on the bacon. Bake at 375 for Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
What is that picture of Rock?
15 minutes is up. Cool your candied bacon. Now let it cool for at least 1 hour. Add 4 strips of bacon to your cocktail shaker. Add 6 ounces of whiskey to your bacon. Shake vigorously. And that is how you make candied bacon bourbon.
I just want bacon.
Bacon.
So can I give you a diva point because you're showing off your Alexa Echo Show?
Yeah. Oh, you just activated her. No, never mind, girl. Okay. All right.
You can't say his name. You have to say digital assistant.
Ugh.
Okay. All right. So that was the first part of today's cocktail, and I heard you ask, "What is that picture of Rodney?" It's from the dentist. It was one of my taking pictures where there's one of those things that we sign when we come on the TTC stuff, like you will not take pictures in the dressing room. That was a picture in the dressing room. Okay. Anyway,
Good to know.
so that was the first part. You got to make the candied bacon so that you can infuse your bourbon with that smoky bacon flavor. Okay. And then you're just going to make a mule with it. Okay. So I've got a little bit left because I've done this once before. Anyway, so I'm going to add the 3. Hopefully there's still 3 in here. No, there's going to be 2. This one's going to be a little weaker than the last one. That's okay. So you're going to add your
Turning his
bourbon
head in
in.
shame.
I lost some of the bourbon to the process. You're going to add a little lime juice to freshen it up. Now, I did this cocktail because a good friend of ours, Nicole Gordon-Hanks, sent it to me. And I was originally going to, because I had almost run out of ideas on how to do it. So I was just going to do.
It's only episode 6, Rodney.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I was going to just do, let's get back in the high life again. And just drink a high life and be done with it. Coming up next week. All right.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have blown it this week.
So then you're going to add a little ginger beer. I'm using the same ginger beer that I used a couple episodes ago. Same brand of beer. It's not the same can. It is the same can from earlier tonight. But anyway, you just top it off.
Because you had to do it twice.
And you know what? You were so lucky I made 2 bacons. All right. So then you garnish with bacon. I also use the bacon as a twizzle, to stir it up a little bit. And there you have it. You have a smoky mule, but I'm going to call it Nicole Saves My Bacon.
Very nice. Very nice, Rodney.
Thank you, Nicole, who just had a new baby, a beautiful little girl. She's the coolest. Thanks, Rodney. How does it taste?
It tastes delicious. It's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, because whenever I just sampled the bacon-infused bourbon out of the freezer, I was like, oh. I don't know, like if you're going out with friends and they're like, hey, let's do shots, let's do bacon-infused bourbon, say, you know what, I'm just going to do Fireball. Okay.
So I have a question. We had discussed that you make that soaking bacon forever, and is that, it may not be good, but why? Why is it not as good as you think it's going to be?
Oh, yeah. So when you make the infusion, you put all that bacon into the shaker, and then you leave it for like 10 minutes, an hour, something like that. And then you taste it because you're like, this has got to be good, right? Just the bacon has soaked up all that bourbon. But and I tried it, I really wanted to like it, so I ate like 2 pieces. But every time I was like, no, that piece must have been bad. I'm trying to, like, how can bacon and soaked in bourbon for an hour going to be bad? But I don't know. It was just way too boozy. I couldn't handle it. This, however.
Thank you, Rodney.
Diva's point.
All right, we're moving on to our next segment, which is the Roger Pine breakdown.
Yes.
This week, we took it easy on him. He had a long week. He had rehearsals for It Should Have Been You. His kids were back in the house after coming to kids camp last week. And he also edited all of our footage for the kids camp production. So I took it easy on him, and he was given Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde, I have seen that one. I saw it at the theater company, and I've seen the movie. So I feel pretty well versed in Legally Blonde. The plot summary is someone who you would not think would traditionally do well in law school goes to law school and is like a fish out of water tale, but then she overcomes the odds and becomes a great lawyer, which, when you think about it, like becoming a great lawyer as the happy ending is not a typical happy ending, but they made it work. They did a good job with that show.
They did. That's such a great show. And we did it at the theater company a few years ago, and it was a blast. It was just one big party. She also finds love at the end, so it's not just about, being a sleazy lawyer. So yay.
Was it a movie or was it a musical first?
It was a movie first with Reese Witherspoon.
Right. So I'd seen the movie. I didn't know it was a musical.
It is. You can actually watch it on YouTube because they filmed it with MTV, I believe. So you can watch a whole production. They filmed it live on MTV. It's on YouTube. And it's a blast because everyone in the audience knew it was being filmed. So they were just bonkers, so excited. And it's an amazing cast. It's an amazing cast of people.
Very cool.
But thanks, Roger, for your breakdown, which was fairly on point. So bravo. Now, without further ado, we're going to introduce our guest, who was only at the theater company for 2 brief shows, not nearly long enough, but while he was there, he definitely made an impression on us and on me. I got to share the stage with him in She Loves Me and got to direct him in Beauty and the Beast. This is when he showed up, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, when he showed up and knocked us all off our feet. Here's Ben Ikwuagwu.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm settling in. I just moved to a new state for the second time during the pandemic, but I think overall I'm learning a lot. We'll get into it.
Where did you just move to, and why?
So I just moved to Nashville for work. And yeah, I moved here from Boston. So in my job, I work for Dell Technologies, and within my job, I'm in a rotational program. And every year I have a new job, a new role, new team, new organization, everything. And it just happened to be in a new state. So yeah, I'm here, and yeah, adapting, learning, and excited.
Wild. Just, moving across state lines in the middle of pandemic. Like, no big deal at all.
Yeah, I feel like it. So when I moved, so I lived in Austin for a year, and then I moved to Boston after living in Austin. But it was normal. Like the world was quote unquote normal, whatever the heck that is. Like they flew me there, and they like moved everything that I owned to Boston. So like in 3 hours, I like was in a new state, and then like that was it. But I will say like that was fine, but I drove from Boston to Nashville this time, and it felt like I was moving. Like it just felt like wow, like you are packing up and leaving. And I kind of got emotional too. We can probably get into that. But it was different. It was different because it's like when you get on the plane, you're in a new place, and you're like, wow, that's it. Like like my first time ever leaving Texas, it happened in like 3.5 hours. Well, like moving out of Texas in and then that was it. But here, like no, it took me 17.5 hours to like drive here over 2 days. And yeah, I felt it. I was like, wow, like I am like with every mile, I was like, wow, I am like leaving moving to a new state. So yeah.
It here. So we got to know each other when you showed up finally at the theater company. But your time at the theater did not overlap with any of our three dads, but you still have met 2 out of the 3. So let's start with Mike. How do you know Ben?
So I met Ben in 2018 when he actually came to the production of Rock of Ages, where Stacey Jacks was in that performance. And we met in the line, and then randomly, Danielle and I are both from Austin. Randomly, we were there one day seeing Family, and we were in Target in South Austin. Ben and a friend were there, and I kept looking, and I just didn't want to be awkward anymore. So I finally, I went over and I was like, I know you from somewhere, I promise. And so anyway, got to meet there, and then saw you next week at the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It was around that time. So
yeah. No, yeah. Actually, so that was crazy because I kept looking at you. I remember what I was doing, and were you buying a card? Because I was in the card aisle, buying a card for a friend's birthday.
It was, yes.
Okay,
yes,
I just remember
was.
that now. Yeah, and I was with a friend, and we were looking for like cards. And yeah, I don't know. I was just like looking at the card, and then I look up, and I'm like, oh, that looks familiar. But yeah, I was living in Austin at that time, and then. Another TTC alum, Chris Erzman, him and I drove up to the midnight showing of Rocky. Remember that? Midnight showing of Rocky Horror. And I'm going to call him out, but like, worst decision of our lives. We drove back to Austin after the show. Oh my God, I know. Because, so he sings at a church, and he had work at 7 a.m. Sunday morning. And I'm gonna call him out. He'll watch this and get upset at me. But like twice, I was like, "Chris, are you falling asleep?" Like, so we pulled over, and I was like, "I'm driving the rest of the way." So yeah, that was a whole weekend. Wow, yeah.
Well, that would be why you didn't show up to the after party after that midnight showing.
No, it was a great show. We were like blown away by Tyler. But yeah, that's. Yeah, that was.
And Chris was in Rocky 1 or 2. I can't remember if he was in 1 or 2, but Chris was actually in Rocky Horror. And like you guys all know, that show is such a party. So it's amazing that they would make the effort to drive from Austin to catch this weird party that we have once a year. That's awesome.
It was my first time seeing Rocky 2, by the way. I don't know if I pointed that out. It was amazing. It was amazing. So. And
then you also have met Dana. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, I had heard about this dude that with the voice, and when they were like, "Oh, that's Ben at Rocky," during right before we went on about the time of warm-ups, and they were some chatter, and he showed up in the middle of the red and did warm-ups for us. I'll mess this up again. I don't know. It's something with wusa or something on your arms and your cabeza. But it was so fun, and I'm not a fan of the shaking of the hands and the feet.
You don't like 16s?
No, is that what it's called, 16s? Oh, yeah. No, I'm old and I'm out of shape, and that's rough. Like I can't breathe. Of course, starting a motorcycle makes it where I can't breathe, or not starting one. But yeah, he went through all that, and I was like, man, this guy's voice is smooth. Just even singing the warm up and doing the woosas, and yeah. So shook his hand, met him, whatnot, and always said like, hey, this is a guy I just really feel like we need to have on the show from the beginning. So I'm glad he's here.
That's from Bad Boys, right? Woosa is Bad Boys.
Is that what it? Oh yeah, the woosa. So that's not the same thing.
No, it's not. It's not. Okay, so the only one you haven't met is dear Rodney.
Hello, Ben.
Rodney,
I actually was there for that Rocky Horror warm up, but I was probably like in and out because I was applying just a massive amount of glitter to my beard. So
Diva boy. Oh, your beard was amazing. Oh yes. Okay, I am just now making that connection. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's me. Phantom number 7.
that beard was iconic. That was wow.
Yeah, I was putting a little mustache wax in my mustache today, and there's still glitter in my mustache wax from that show.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's
so
wow.
These dudes, these three dudes actually, they met off back in My Fair Lady, but when they kind of came to be this little family is when they played the Three Dads and Mamma Mia. And so that show is what led to their just sweet friendship, guys, which is how we now have Diva Dads and how we're talking to you.
Yay. No, that's cool. I'm glad y'all are doing this. I'm like obsessed with podcasts, so I listen to like a lot of them, and yeah, I'm on one. So I'm like, wait, am I cool now? I'm kind of cool. So
I feel like you've always been cool.
we bring guests like you on to make the podcast cool.
Yes, amen.
But speaking of cool, we're going to move into our questions from our theater company family, and I'm going to start with the coolest of the cool, Parker Greer, who is one of the coolest kids ever. He's about to play the Toad in Tuck Everlasting, but he would like to know, first off, how old were you when you started singing, and do you have any tips? Because he's a young performer, actually taking voice from Carrie Kempf, but he wants to know what advice you have.
Yeah, so, okay, how old was I? So I started singing in church, like kind of, typical. I grew up in a Baptist church and would always just sing just because my friends in church sang, so I wanted to be in choir with them. And I know I was between like 6 and 8. I don't know exactly the time I started singing, but I was between those ages when I started singing. And I would just, sing in church and choir, I was... all the young boys were altos, because in gospel music there's only 3 parts. There's only soprano, alto, tenor, and that's really it. So yeah, all the boys were altos. So I would sing, and then I was loud. I've always been loud, and if you heard me sing, I scream a lot of times. So I would sing loud, and our director would just she would point me out and say, hey, we're gonna have you sing a solo, and we're gonna have you do that. So between 6 and 8 is when I started to sing. But I would say I didn't really start to be comfortable with my voice and learn how to do falsetto and learn what head voice was probably until end of middle school to beginning of high school when I would start to sing, I would say. So that's when I started singing. And tips on singing. So I actually have friends who don't sing who always say ooh, can I get voice lessons? And I'm like, you do realize that's a profession, right? You do realize people go to school to teach people how to this is not a thing that singers can just do. Anyway, so just pointing that out. Hats off to voice teachers. But any tips to singing? I think for me is when I learned how to relax when I was singing, I think I became a better singer. So I would say as a young kid, if I knew that, hey, it doesn't take that much effort every time you sing to sound good, I think I would have gotten better quicker, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so that's my advice. When you're singing, again, I'm sure Carrie's doing a great job helping you with this, but I'm not the person to teach you how to do this, but learn how to, relax sooner, if that makes sense. And yeah, when you learn how to float your voice and use your body to sing, it just changes everything, and then you can sing longer. I would say when I was a tenor in middle school, high school, after a concert, I would lose my voice or something because I was straining the whole time. But yeah, the older I got, the more I could sing longer, and get more endurance with your voice. So yeah, I hope that.
No, very cool.
That's good.
All right, so David Manuel wants to know, you've kind of talked about the beginning of your vocal journey.
Yeah.
So tell us what you've done tell us kind of how you've, shared your gift of song with the world.
Okay. So yeah, I talked about singing in church. I would say for most of my life, actually. So I'm 24. I don't know if we're talking about ages.
Never.
No.
Okay, whatever. I guess when you're young, you're like, oh, I'm 20 something, but then when you get like 40, you're like, like whatever. So
yeah, pretty much.
I'm kidding. I didn't. So I'm 24, and life has been, most of my life has been structured singing. Like that's kind of how I see it. Like I've always been in a choir up until since the last 2 years of my life. I haven't been in a choir, but like from again 6 years old to 21, I was in some sort of choir, whether it was school choir, church choir, or collegiate choir, something along those, or a cappella group, something like that, right? So I always had, a time when I had to rehearse and a time when I had to sing. So yeah, my musical journey was typically just like, I would say it was like molded by the people I was around, right? So I learned from singers that were around me. I learned from different directors most of my life. And I would sing solos in choir, but for the most part, I was just a choir student, like that could sing. Well. Yeah, but I would say when I got to A&M is the first time where I think I started to develop as like an individual singer. So being an a cappella, it's a smaller group. I think my group in college was like between 16 and 18 people.
Which group?
Oh yeah, so at A&M I was in hardcore dynamics.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I was in there for 3 years. Yeah, for 3 years. Yeah, so smaller groups. So I was able to like, everyone can hear you. You can't hide in an a cappella group. So I think I started to develop like, ooh, like this is how I want to sound like as Ben, as opposed to like, ooh, like in choir, like make your vowel this way and like shape the sound, which is like, oh, I'm not like that's good things for choir, but like as an individual artist, though, you don't really have creativity when having the sound with the choir. So in an a cappella group, I started to develop my own sound, and didn't really know what that meant. But I think again, still, even though it was a cappella group, it was still structured because we had to blend some sort of way, and joining theater company, believe it or not, and working with and working with Cynthia, like all of these like great musicians, and one-on-one with them, and them saying like like you can let this breathe some, like you can do more with this. You don't have to do what the page says. And I'm like, oh. So yeah, I mean, so again, that helped more like develop like, oh, how does Ben sound? And then unfortunately graduated college and left College Station and moved to Austin, and this is a crazy story. So I don't want to go too long in this question, but I have to explain the story. So before I moved to Austin, my junior year of college, I interned in Austin at Dell before I started working there full time. And as an intern, we had an intern event, our last time meeting as an intern class. It was a karaoke night, of course. Yeah, this is a great story. I love this story. I think it started, it's going to explain so much more in my life. We had a karaoke night, and the karaoke night was hosted by it was a live band karaoke. So it was the first time I've ever seen that, first off. Like I've never, didn't know that even existed, but it was like a band playing live, and then there was a screen, and they would like play the track. It took me like, the older I got, I realized, oh, that's how they had, the track in their ears. But I was like, how are they doing that? They're like in time with the track. Anyway, so I ended up singing one song. I sang Maroon 5 Sunday Morning with that live band. And before that, I mean, a lot of like my peers and my coworkers were singing, and it was like, oh, whatever. But like I can sing, so like I sang, and they were like, oh wow, that was like really good. And the director came up to me after the whole thing was over and was like, hey, like what's up? And I was like, no, I sing, but I'm like a junior in college right now, and I'm going to be going back to College Station to finish my last year. And then he was like, well, yeah, if you're ever in town, like just hit me up. Like, I'd love to just jam out with you. And like that was kind of it. Like it was that. So I was like, okay, sure, like that was awesome. Like this, person in this company just like gave me his number, or like to go and eventually sing with him. So anyway, so that happened. Saved the number, and then a year went by. I finished my senior year of college, and then of course I ended up getting a full-time offer at Dell, and I moved back to Austin, and I don't even know, like I don't know, like I feel like spirits are just guiding me in so many ways in my life, and we can get to more into that. But something told me, was like, hey, like, oh, you should text that guy you met a year ago, like a year ago. Like I've never used the phone number a year ago, and like just see, like what can happen. So I texted him, and he replied right away. He's like, oh man, like what's up? I remember you. You're moving back to. I was like, yeah, I live in Austin now. Like I'd love to sing with you. So anyway, we ended up. I'm gonna finish the story. So we ended up having lunch, and he was like, hey man, like, like I'd love to get you in the Austin music scene, like, people need to hear your voice, that kind of thing. And he gave me list of people to talk to. He was like, reach out to this person. They may have, some bands for you to sing with. So anyway, I did that whole thing and ended up finding a band eventually. I mean, there's a lot in between that, but ended up finding a band eventually. And this band this guy I reached out to, his name was WD. I hope he watches this. He probably will. WD. He ended up like looking me up on YouTube, which if you see my YouTube is like really bad stuff, like not even just saying that, it's like not even good. Anyway, but he was like, dude, yeah, I saw your YouTube, and like I'd love for you to just come out to one of our rehearsals. Now, this band is called the Austin Nines. They are like one of Austin's like premier cover bands. Like they do weddings and corporate gigs and parties all over the state. And I saw their website and I was like, wait, y'all are an actual band. Like y'all aren't just like guys in like the garage jamming. He's like, yeah, like we are a band. And I was like, I can just come and sing with you. Like, anyway, so I went there, sang with him, and then like when I got home, he was like, can you join our band? Like seriously. And like again, I don't even know how in the world like all of these things led up to that, but it led up to him saying, can you join a band? And I'm like, hell yeah, I'll join your band. Like that's like a dream to be in a cover band. Like that's like what I want to do. So anyway, I sang with him for about 8 months before I left Austin, but I don't even know what the question was anymore. But
That's okay. I think that journey is amazing, because I love that we're talking about these structured singing environments that you were in, and then you branch into musical theater, which actually that's what I want to talk about next. And then all of a sudden you're repping this like huge band around Austin. And y'all do need to look up his Facebook page, because there's a lot of videos of the stuff that they do, and it's insane. It's amazing everything is so versatile. Y'all do everything. It's crazy.
Did your time overlap with hardcores with Tyler and or Maddie?
Oh, not Tyler, but yes, Maddie. Maddie.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So yeah, Maddie and I, she was in the group a semester before I got in. So we both are the same age, but like she joined the group her freshman year fall, and I joined the group our freshman year spring.
Okay.
So yeah, Maddie and I definitely overlapped.
This podcast is a big fan of Maddie Sicola.
100%.
I love her so much.
Okay, since y'all love Maddie so much, can I just kind of plug myself in a bit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm the person who like forced Maddie to audition for theater company. I'm like,
oh, no way.
Did she not tell you that?
No.
I'm going to talk to her. Yeah. She was like, should I audition? I'm like, you should audition. She was like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, you need to audition. Like, what are you doing? And yeah. So just saying.
Oh, my gosh.
That's amazing. So I actually knew Maddie because she was at Bryan High when I choreographed Wizard of Oz, and she was one of my little like jitterbug dancers. And I remember always seeing her thinking like, that girl can move, that girl can, she was special
everything.
In high school.
You do everything.
But I never saw her again. And then in walks Maddie at Rock of Ages auditions. I was like, wait a second, I know you. And then she sang, and I was like, hello, welcome.
I literally told, I was so upset because what was before Rock of Ages?
Three Penny Opera.
I think that's the one. I was like, go audition, like, go do it. She's like, I don't know, like, whatever. And I'm like, Maddie, like, you are a crazy girl. Yeah, I'm glad she finally went, though.
Well, I love knowing that you're the one responsible for her.
And if she tells you anything different, like, please call me, because I am...
If you stick around for Dads After Dark, she's usually on Dads After Dark.
Usually shows up at your house.
Yes, she does.
She show up at Dana's house.
That's funny. Anyway, yeah. So
Awesome.
Okay, but I want to ask about. Oh, I'm sorry. I just pulled a mic.
You just pulled a
did.
mic.
Yeah, we were gonna hold that
Mike,
over.
is that a Four Loko? What are you drinking?
is that?
No, it's some British beer.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, is that the Iron Maiden on it?
Yes, yeah. Yes, Iron Maiden. Yes, it sure does.
You don't stop that accent. I'm going to skip your question.
Oh man.
No, you go for it.
No.
Your question.
Okay. All right. This next question, Ben, is from Shannon Van Zandt. You have lived and are living in some of the coolest cities in the nation. Which one do you like the best and why?
Ooh.
I feel like there's only one
I
answer.
hope I'm not going to offend anyone on this. Okay, I love all of them. Okay, to start there. I think probably Austin. But okay, before this, these are the reasons why. So first off, okay, Austin has had the best food of any city I've ever lived in. The best food. Like, kid you not. Like, when it comes to like seasoning, when it comes to like spice, when it comes to variety, just everything. Austin. So like food, I love food, so that's the thing. Weather, I mean Texas in general, but like Austin's weather has been the best city. I've only been in Nashville for 2 weeks, so like just whatever. It's warm here also, but like Austin's weather has been the best. The people, I think, well, it's hard to say because I know a lot of people from like college who transferred to Austin, but yeah, the people I met. I mean, meeting Chris Erzman and that whole love of, if you know Chris, you know what I mean, like that and that whole family, Carly and Joan and all those people. Like I think that was a huge help in Austin because even though I had a lot of friends in Austin, I was still new to the city, so I think that also helped. So yeah, definitely Austin. Yeah. Do I need to tell you why not the other? No, I won't tell you.
No, we know it's a whole lot more fun than here, so you don't have to rub it in.
Okay, but okay.
I mean, there's two of us here.
Special
for
in our
sure.
own way.
There's two of us that lived 20 years in Austin, Mike and myself. Rodney, you never lived in Austin, though, did you?
Nope.
Yeah.
Never will.
So, like, we get it. There's things about Austin that are pretty dang special.
And I think also for me is like the fact that I was in that band in Austin. That kind of like just was the icing on the cake for me.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to like Austin.
I'm going to get a diva point for this, but yeah, the bands I was in, Austin. I mean, that's what you do. You're a musician. You're in a band if you live in Austin. So, cool. All right, shut up. Move on.
You said it. Just kidding. Okay, but speaking of your second favorite place to live in the country, so your time in Bryan College Station, we talked about how you brought Maddie to us, but before you talk about how you finally came to the theater, how you finally made it to the theater company, I want to tell you a little bit about our first impression of you. I knew who you came along with, and I knew this person had a lot of wonderfully talented friends because he is a very wonderfully talented person from your a cappella group. And you went up on stage and you sang a song sung by a female actress, which is normally you don't do that. You're not supposed to do that. Ask Mark and Weba. Adam Pascal yelled at him for singing a woman's song. But Ben, you sang I'm Here, Feely song from The Color Purple. And we were literally jaws hanging open, could not believe the voice that you had. And I'm really glad. So if anyone would like to hear it, you can go to the theater company's Facebook page because Ben very generously re-recorded that song for me in the last week in this very beautifully raw, emotional way. Don't make that face. It was absolutely stunning. It was stunning. Yeah, it was amazing. So you can go to the theater company page or your Facebook page to watch that video of him singing. But tell us how you showed up that day on that stage to kill us all.
Wow. So actually, I don't think I've ever told you this. So I'm glad this is happening. But my first experience with theater company was actually not my choice. Okay, so I was in a class, art history class at A&M, and our professor was a huge theater nut. and a theater company was doing Adam's Family. I don't know what year it was, but it was the year you and Paul were.
10 years ago.
Okay, cool. So yeah, and and he was like, he saw it and he went to see it. He was like, I love this show. If you go to this show, you're getting extra credit. So I was like, I want extra credit. Like, so I went, and I was like, what in the world? This exists in College Station? Like, I kid you not, I was like floored because okay, so I went with a friend that I was in class with, and I was like, well. I thought you and Paul were like professionals. Like, I'm not even just saying that. Like, I was like, oh, so like they probably just like brought those people in, and then like did the show. Like, I kid you not, it was so good. Oh, and then Berkeley, well, it's just like everyone. And then like Kelsey, I didn't know Kelsey at the time. So like Kelsey, I was like, even like the person who's not even talking is like good. Like, it was so good. Like it was so good. Anyway, so I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I was like, that was like a professional show. And I never even considered auditioning because I was like, I would never like be on. I was like, I could never do that. I'm not an actor. I kid you. I'm not even joking. So I didn't even like cross my mind of like, oh, I should probably go audition. I was like, okay, yeah, these are like actors and actresses, and like like, I would never be on this stage. So anyway, so that was that. I think I was a freshman or sophomore. Honestly, I was.
All that wasted time, man.
Anyway, so that was that, and I was just like, didn't think twice about it. Never went to another show because I was But then, Andrew was like, hey, we're having auditions for Beauty and the Beast, and he was auditioning, and I don't know. Like, I'm blanking on the time between Addams Family and Beauty and the Beast. I don't know. I mean, I was heavily involved with hardcore. I know that was like one of the reasons why. But yeah, it never crossed my mind. Like, I've never done theater before, and I never thought I would be a good actor. So I just didn't think about it. But then for some reason, like, I don't know. I was like, maybe I should try it. Like, we'll see what happens. And I think I called Keith. So Keith Owen used to be in my acapella group too. When I was a freshman, he was like I think he was our musical director, or he was something. He was like a leader in there. Kate Mitchell. Well, I used to be in Century Singers with her, and she was obviously in there. So I called her.
Wow.
I called a lot of like Century Singers. I was like, should I do it? And they were just like, yeah, like you should definitely do it. Like, So then I did, and I auditioned. And finding a song was. So I wasn't a theater person until Beauty and the Beast. I'm not even kidding you. Like, I had never seen a Broadway show, never seen a musical, none of that. And the I think I know more now that I look back, but like the only one I could think about was I'm Here from Color Purple, the only musical that I could think about. And I was like, I can sing that like an octave below or whatever.
Yeah, you can.
Like a whole step below. So yeah, anyway, that's that's where that came from.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Between Katie and all of Kate and all those Century Singers and hardcore people, the like influx of talent that we've had thanks to choral activities at A&M is pretty amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, that leads me to my question, which was, what was your first impression of TTC? But I think you kind of summed it up there, and you stated if you didn't do theater until Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. I'd never even done that. I was up in choir in high school, so I just didn't like theater wasn't.
So what was that experience like for you, coming from singing on a stage as a performer that way to being on stage as an actor and singing?
Very, very scary, to be honest. So I think we had a reading. I think I did the reading. I don't know which ones. You probably know. I don't know. But we had to do like a reading for the audition, and I don't know, like. This is weird. Like, so I can have confidence. Like, I really can. But like, there are times where like I just like a spell comes over me where I literally lack all confidence, and I'm just like a vegetable. Like, I don't know. And I think that happened a few times during the reading, at least for me, to where like I would look at the words and I'm like, what are these words? Like, I've never seen these words. As if like I've never read anything. And then I also like. I had so much doubt in my mind because I was like, I've never done acting before. Like, I'm not an actor. As if in my head, like an actor knew they knew they were an actor. So like I knew I wasn't. So then in my head, I was like, well, I can't do this. So I think that's a part of it. But I don't know. I didn't really get comfortable until I would say the first or second rehearsal after meeting the people in TTC, because I'm like, wait, people are here, they're just people. Like, people that I would, like, they're chill people, like, they're, like, you know, they're relatable, they want to have relationships with you, like, they want to get to know you. So I think that helped a ton. But I feel like if I would have been in a company where, like, you know, a company is like, all right, come and here's your script and here's your rehearsal, then I probably wouldn't have enjoyed theater, to be honest. So I think it helped that TTC was, like, welcoming, because I was like, oh, like I'm gonna, like, think of one person like Kelsey, like, right, like, you know, when you work with Kelsey, you're not like, oh, I need to come here and work. You're like, oh, this girl's a nut, right? And it helps a lot that people like that exist in TTC, because making the transition from, like, being a singer only to, like, oh, I have to, like, learn lines, it's so much easier to do that. Yeah, so, yeah, the people.
That's cool. Going back to your little, like, the spider web that you just created about all the people that, you know, that we're connected to, that you are connected to, and then they get back.
Going.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But I definitely, next time I see Andrew, I'm gonna have to give him a hug, because he brought Tyler too, right?
Yep.
And so so Andrew gets a hug.
Even
if he probably won't like it, but I'm gonna give him a hug anyway.
Which Andrew?
Armstrong.
Andrew Armstrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in my acapella group also. He joined
the Trench Bowl?
New Year.
Yes, the Trench Bowl.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was so good.
It's amazing.
All right, so it is my question now. Nicole Gordon-Hanks, who is my cocktail savior this week, wants to know if you're a Red Sox fan.
I am indifferent, so I'm not a baseball fan really. But I have been to a Red Sox game because I lived in Boston, and you can't not go to a Red Sox game. So I had to go. It was fun, but I mean, I didn't watch a game after that. So
that's fair.
But I don't want to say no, because I'm not.
You can. It's fine.
Yeah, don't alienate your fans. It's fine.
Yeah.
No.
Did you go to any of the Round Rock Express games when you lived in Austin?
I did. So fun fact, I actually sang. So fun fact. So the Round Rock Express, they play in the Dell Diamond, which I work for Dell. So I use my connections, and I ended up getting in touch with. And this is, I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to get fired. I ended up getting in touch with the leader of marketing. Yeah, we'll say marketing. And I was like, hey, I work for Dell and I'm a singer. Can I sing the anthem? And he's like, yeah, sure. So then I sang the anthem at one of their games. I mean, I sent a video and it wasn't just so I sent the video and he was like,
that's risky on their part if they hadn't seen you before.
Sure,
so I sent the video and he was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like, we've never had a Dell employee. And I'm like, really? That's so interesting. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I did. Well, I stuck around for a couple of innings, but to be honest, they weren't that good.
Oh.
We also have a lot of happy hours there. That's Dell happy hour place is the Dell.
That's when baseball is good, when it's happy hour.
Yes, and we get free drink tickets, so it was just a good time as far as game goes. But
I'm a sports fan now.
Yeah, but. Yeah, and so I have been to a few.
Mike?
Nice. All right, next question from Shannon Van Zant again. Which of your TTC co-stars do you miss performing with the most? Put him on the spot.
Okay, so what kind of question? Okay, so this is a hard question because one of my co-stars is on this podcast right now. Okay, wait.
I didn't ask it. I did not ask it, and my mom didn't ask it this time. I just need that.
Did ask it. Okay. Okay, so to be fair, I've only done 2 shows. Okay, so let me start with that. I don't know. I feel like I should start with that. What? Okay, so I'm gonna say. This is hard, and I really enjoyed performing with you, AG.
No, it's okay. I don't want to show those pictures, y'all. I saw them today. I'm so chubby. So that didn't happen. We're moving on to whoever it was.
So I'm thinking. So my first role, my first role, like rehearsal, whatever in TTC was Beauty and the Beast, and I was a villager, and I remember this because I was in we built those like those houses or whatever for the opening scene,
Yeah.
and my housemate in that opening scene was Kelsey.
Yay!
But then also Kelsey and I like became really close after our audition, like right away, like, became really good friends. And then she was my housemate, so she was like my first like real friend in TTC. And oh my god, like I'm sure you've performed with her. Like being on stage with her is so hard. It's hard, but it's also amazing. It's hard because she's goofy as hell, and when you're trying not to laugh because you're like on stage in front of a crowd, it's really hard to do. But also like not to get like sappy, but like she gave me so much confidence because like my first show ever as a an actor, like she's so comfortable on stage and like she has this way of just like making you feel comfortable. Like I don't know what it is, and she's like not human, but just like literally just walking on stage with Kelsey, like I'm like hell yeah, like I got this, like So I think it has to be her because she has that spirit to where like all the doubt that I was feeling before auditioning, like she just like you can't be nervous with Kelsey like with you. So I think that yeah, I mean I would say that because that's like the first experience I can remember. It's like Kelsey is like this girl's crazy, but like wow, she's so awesome and she's so comfortable. I want to get to that level of comfort, so I would say it's definitely it has to be Kelsey.
I will say when this question was asked on Facebook, Kelsey was the first to address it. And she specifically said, if it ain't me, I don't remember exactly, but
Does she I'm sure she watches these. That's funny. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Also, just a quick shout out to Kelsey. We had our kind of sing read through for It Should Have Been You over the past couple of days, and y'all aren't ready. Well, I guess one of you is there, so you're ready. You heard it.
No, I'm not ready.
You're not ready, but
not ready.
Well, that's fair.
That doesn't surprise me.
Her singing Jenny's Blues is gonna blow everybody away. It's gonna be amazing. But this is perfect setup for Rodney's next question.
Exactly, because Kelsey Coleman wants to know, when you inevitably move to Manhattan, what part of city do you want to live in with Kelsey?
What kind of question is that?
It's a Kelsey question.
It's a Kelsey question.
Okay, so I guess I should preface with like I've been to New York 2 times my entire life, and if I'm moving to Manhattan, I'm probably telling people that I'm moving to Manhattan. Like I didn't know you got more detail than that. Like, so, but I do know like that Hell's Kitchen is a thing. So like Hell's Kitchen, sure.
That's where Cameron lives. You can hang out with Cameron, our guest from 2 weeks ago.
Perfect. Then yeah, I will say that I don't even know. That's just the one thing I know. But Manhattan, I guess are there like parts of Manhattan? I guess Hell's Kitchen, Times Square, is that like okay?
Lower.
Yeah, don't live there.
All right, so yeah, Hell's Kitchen because like everyone talks about it. It's in shows.
Perfect. All right, Dan.
Daniel Hill has a question for you about the high C in She Loves Me. Was that planned or spur of the moment?
So it's like we never talked about. I don't know if we did because it was my last show ever, my last note ever at TTC.
Yeah, I remember.
So I was debating. First of all, I was really scared because I was like, oh my god, like, am I gonna get in trouble for doing this? Like, we've never rehearsed this. So that was the one thing. And then I was like, do I like ask for permission or ask for forgiveness? And then I was like, you know what? This is my last show. Like, I'm gonna just ask for forgiveness. And wait, what was the question again? Sorry.
And the high C, was it planned or was it spur of the moment?
Was it planned or so? So I guess it was definitely planned because I knew, but I didn't like discover it until like that weekend. I don't know when, honestly. I know it was that weekend. I know I was at home. But I don't know when. But I know it was sometime because it was a Sunday show when I did the high C. But I know it was like between like Thursday and Sunday. I was just like practicing, and I was like, "Ooh, like this would be cool." I didn't even know it was a high C until Daniel told me first off. So that was kind of cool. I was like, "Oh shit, that was a high C." I mean, shoot, sorry, that was a high C. But okay, yeah. So I was just like singing along with it, and I was like, "Yeah, this could be cool." Probably I would say like probably Friday, or on Friday or Saturday. And then I was like, ooh, I'm gonna try it in the last show. But then again, like I was like, I don't. If I ask and they say no, then I'll be upset. So like, what if I just sang it? And then hopefully, yeah. So yeah, I don't know if that
You were
helped.
leaving anyway. You were leaving anyway. What were we gonna do?
It was definitely planned, but like it was also kind of almost for the moment because I was like, all right, here we go. Like this is it. This is the song. I'm doing it.
Take that breath and get it.
Such a great show.
I really wish I could have heard that. That's amazing.
Yeah, me too.
I never heard it, so I don't even know if it sounded good. But I went for it.
Pretty sure it did. So Ben, you and I were kind of texting a little bit earlier in the week, or maybe no, we were texting a little bit last week, and I was talking to you a little bit about, you know, what we're doing with Diva Dads and how, yes, we want to highlight you as a performer and what your theater, you know, journey has been. And there's a lot of lightness and a lot of levity to what we do. But one of the reasons why obviously we wanted to talk to you is because of this current atmosphere that we're living in. And obviously there's so many things that we can't even begin to tackle. But one thing we can talk about is you as a wonderfully talented Black male in this performance theater community. It's something I want to know about, but also Shannon Van Zandt, she wants to know how being Black has influenced your singing career, and also, you know, has that varied from place to place in any way?
Ooh, this is a good question. I guess I can start with, so yeah, I don't know how I'm answering it, but I'm just gonna like kind of hop over the place. So I can start with like, so I've only been Black, so I don't know if like wasn't I don't know if I wasn't Black how my music career would be, but I can speak to like obviously what I've been, and I would say first of all my music career has been very short, just because like I've just started the music career, and when I first decided okay like I want to start writing music, I want to like become an artist, my first thought was like okay like how do I stand out? Like that was like the first thing, because like I don't want to just be like a mediocre artist and you know whatever and perform locally. Like if I'm gonna do music, I want to definitely expand and like be great. Like that's like that would be my goal if I went full time with music. And I'm like okay, I'm a Black man, and what are people gonna expect from me? Right? They're probably gonna expect soul, gospel, R&B. So I was like, you know what? Let's try your best not to do that. I would say that's the beginning of my, probably 2 years ago when I first decided, oh, well, I want to do more music. So for so long, like a year and a half probably, or probably a year, I was like, ooh, like how do you like create a sound that's very different? Like how do you stand out? How do you like not be a typical Black singer? And which is like, again, like for person that's about tips, like not the way to become an artist. And thinking like, you know, how basically like what do people want to hear? That's different. So as becoming an artist, like that's not the way. I realized this the older I got, you know, a couple more months. That's not the way you want to do it. Like your goal shouldn't be how do you create music for people to like, or for them to like, you know, like you as an artist. It's like you should reach within and say like, what am I as an artist? Who am I? And how is my music going to sound, regardless of what people think about it? And this is like a recent, like this is a very like relevant conversation because this is like a recent thing that I've like come to where I'm like I don't care if I'm singing R&B again, like that's like what I do, like well I'm not an R&B singer but like soul or gospel, like that's like what I do best, and like that defines me. So regardless if that's just another Black guy singing R&B, well yeah, but like I'm gonna make it unique for me. So I think I had the wrong idea of what becoming an artist was when I first started. Because it was always like, ooh, like how do I get people to listen to my music? How do I get people to listen to my songs? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like that's not fulfilling, like at all. And even when I got people to listen to my songs and, you know, it was what I tried to create, like it doesn't really create like actual real internal happiness when that happens. Like you're happy internally when you decide, hey, this is all that I am, and like you release it, and then like you see it out there and you're like, I don't care who listens to it, but like this is me like on display. So yeah, I would say like again to Shannon's question, like how has being Black influenced that? I think because I was a Black man, I think I tried so hard to like not be a typical Black man, but I'm like, I'm not a typical Black man. I am Ben, who happens to be a Black man and who happens to create this music. And I think I don't know, the older I get, the smarter I get, I guess, so the wiser I get, to where I'm like, yeah, dude, like, you don't have to make music so people can listen to it. Like, that's stupid. Like, that's draining and a waste of your talent and a waste of time to like go around saying like what do they want to hear? Like, no, I don't have time for that. Yeah, so I think becoming more authentic has been a goal of mine, and I think that. So I think on that same note, I think the reason I thought that way is because I feel like growing up, a lot of times, like I would always see in media or on social media, I would always see black as one. Like black was always seen as like a singular thing, but like black is so nuanced. Like there's not just like one version of black. Like and it's. I think oh my god, I'm thinking. Well, this question's bringing up so much, but I'm thinking. Sorry, I'm like kind of tearing off. But like going to A&M, love my school. Um, Aggie till I die. But I think when I first got there, for a lot of my friends that I met, like I was their first black friend. Like Adrian, like you all know this. Like this is common. Like people come from small towns, they've never had a black friend, and they come to A&M, and it's like it's a diverse place. People don't realize that, but it's a very diverse place. And
Yeah.
like diverse place, and you're like, wow, a black person. Wow, I didn't expect you to be this way. And I kid you not, I would hear that. Like, I would hear those words, like, wow, I didn't, black people are, and I'm like, so I think after hearing that as a freshman, I think I felt like it was my duty to say, like, black people are different. They're not all the same. So then I would go around, like, showing people that, hey, like, I'm black and, like, I'm not what you thought I was, whatever that was. And, like, that is, like, oh my god, like if I could like do something over, like it would definitely be starting there. like you don't have to like it's not your job to like change the way people view your people or view people that look like you or act like you, right? It's not your job at all. This is like me talking to myself. Like it's not my job to do that, but it took me way too long, like too late in my life to like come to that realization that I don't like I'm not here to like disprove what you think of my people. Like that's not my job. Yeah, I mean, friends are probably listening to this. Like, I was their first black friend a lot of times. They were just like, "Wow, like you're so different. Like you're so," and I'm like, It's because it's because of like what you thought I was gonna be. I think that also influenced my music because I was like, oh, people are gonna think, oh, because I'm black, I'm gonna sing R&B. Like, I don't want them to think that. So I should like it bled over into that. And yeah, it became draining, like so draining. And I would say like this past year and a half, like, oh, I've been so much more free, like not having to like to think about that. And it's crazy that, and I'm like embarrassed to say that I'm like 24 and like I'm just like coming to that. People I know like have done this, like have come to this long, like earlier in their lives. But yeah, like I'm just like, geez, like this is like a better way to live. Like, it's a lot more freeing to live that way. So I don't know if I forgot what the question was, but all of that.
You got there. You got
No,
there.
yeah, I definitely think you got there. And I one thing that you said is that that you're an artist, a singer that happens to be black. I wish I'm a man that happens to be black, and I think that's just where our country needs to be. That these are people, and they happen to be black, they happen to be brown, they happen to be, whatever the case may be, and that's just it. Like they're human, and that's what they are. And whether you're trying to, fight against, busting the stereotypes that may be out there for your culture or for whatever, or if it's embracing it, I think it's phenomenal. I took a little time to listen to your music before the show today, and of course listen to the thing that Adrian posted, and I was trying to figure out like how do I describe like his voice, and the best thing that came to mind was just there's like a creaminess to it. There's like a
yes,
like a richness, like it's so like soothing. It's like something that I might put in one of my milk cocktails.
Oh, no milk cocktails.
Sorry, I always bring it back to me, but Ben, it's been amazing to kind of discover you, and it's amazing, and I really appreciate you sharing your talent with us, and I can't wait to hear more. You're already a favorite artist on my Amazon playlist. So
Thanks for having me on.
So if I could touch on something to you,
Yeah.
just because I can't have Rodney stealing all the limelight. No, you talked about the, I don't want to make music that someone may expect me to make, or, I don't want to be the actor on stage that someone expects me to be. I want to be what I think is cool, what I enjoy, and let that let that muse out of me, right? And I certainly totally respect that, because I think we get into even with Diva Dads, we're not looking for a niche or whatever. We're just some dudes trying to do something cool. When I was a recording artist, oh yes, and Adrian, who took the bull by the horns and made us do all this way. When I was a musician and artist, it was not about whatever the expectation was for the type of band. Don't pigeonhole me based on what you think of me. Let me just let that muse out. And man, that's so refreshing to hear people say. Awesome, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a couple more questions for you, I think.
Yeah,
it's all about the
so
art, Ben.
Tell it T.
Tell it T, Dina.
This question, Ben, is from Stephanie Huddleston. What show got you interested in theater, and what's been your favorite so far?
At TTC or just in general theater?
She didn't. Yeah, in general, I'd say.
In general. What show got me interested in theater? I know the answer to this question. So, you mentioned I'm Here earlier, and I guess I didn't mention this. So I was in Century Singers, and we performed in Carnegie Hall in New York. I want to say my junior year. I don't know, in college. And I actually and I was like, this is amazing. I got to see Cynthia, Jennifer Hudson, and Danielle Brooks on live, like on stage in Color Purple, in New York, and I was blown. I cried like 4 or 5 times. Like I was blown away by that performance. I can't say that like I was like, oh, I want to do theater now, because I didn't. That's not what I said after that. But I was just like blown away by it. I'm kind of upset that like that show didn't do it for me. I don't know, I don't know. It just didn't. Like I loved the show, and I was like, but I didn't think like, ooh, like I can do that. I honestly, it's probably Adam's Family. Like I don't know, it's gonna be that. I don't. I'm trying to figure out, because I don't remember the day I was like, ooh, like I'm interested in theater. Like I don't know. It was more of like speaking with Andrew and like people like, and that was kind of like the whole process.
It doesn't have to be a really deep show to fall in love. Like, if it's
it just had to be Paul Early, apparently. That's what it took.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, like I did, like I knew like Grease stuff. Does that count? I don't
know. No.
What was the other part of the question? What got me interested in theater? And
yes, so what got you interested in theater, and what's been your favorite show so far?
Favorite show so far. I'm just going to be biased and say She Loves Me, because it was, that show challenged me. Oh, it was so challenging. Like I was like, I don't know, like I had a lot of lines in that show, and having to learn them for the first, like having to learn that many lines was really challenging. That's like the first challenge, but also just like developing a character, and then also like having to do it next to like Adrian Dobson, like was like really tough, because I'm like, okay, like I can't be that mediocre. So I think that was a really challenging show, but because that show got like a lot of good press, that became my favorite, because I was like, whoa, like
It's good.
We did that, and like I was a part of that, and like for a change, like I mean, I guess I have seen this before, but like I worked hard for that show, and then having like working hard for a show, and then like seeing it come to life, and it was like, I mean, you all know it's just it feels so good to like, and then we struggled though. Like I'll be honest, like we struggled. At least okay, I struggled. I don't know what I'm saying.
It wasn't just you. That was a hard
It
intro.
was
A small
to the
cast.
point- yeah, a small cast, a lot of moving parts, lots of like small pieces. Like oh my god,
Yeah, the prop work alone was
Prop work
like
alone.
remembering which perfume bottle had to go back to which shelf. There was like 50 Christmas packages that had to be stacked a certain way and given out to certain customers. Like it was tough.
it was tough, and I think I was. I mean, I was so stressed, like technique of that show, and to be honest, like I don't really think it came together until opening night. Like I don't know what you think, Adrian, but I think opening night is when it all came together, and I was like, wow, like we just did that.
All right, not to pull a Roger Pine, but tell me more about the show. Like, what is it all about? Like,
So-
and what part did you two play? And like, tell me more.
Adrian can do better than I was.
Well, so have you seen You Got Mail, Rodney?
Yes, I have.
So You've Got Mail is based on the Shop Around the Corner, and She Loves Me is a closer version of Shop Around the Corner that it is into You've Got Mail. So basically these two people are pen pals, and in our version it was Christina Freeman, who again is another person from Century Singers that has performed with Ben over and over again, we love.
Christina, we've been talking about yeah, I love her.
But it was her and James Cho were these secret pen pals, but in the meantime, while they're falling in love while writing each other, they work together and can't stand each other.
Oh my God! I think I just saw that show. Zachary Levi plays a character on Broadway.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes.
Fantastic,
So
Rodney.
Ben was he was Gavin Creel's part. Stephen Kodai or Kodalai, depending on the interpretation.
I was like, yeah, Kodak.
All the names were different, and then I was the Jane Krakowski character that got to sing the library song, which was one of the sisters that I've ever had to do. And that also might be for me something that I might have finally gotten right at, the night before we opened.
Can I tell you a fun fact? I know that whole song. Literally, like.
Guess who doesn't?
So my next question would be, do you remember any of your songs from that show, and would you maybe share one with us? And so since you know that one, then maybe you could share Adrian's song with us.
It's not like a singing song. I don't know if I want to sing that one.
That's not fun to sing, but Dana, you can just jump right to this next question because Ben, it's coming.
So from the lovely Cynthia Bradford, our Donna from Mamma Mia.
Oh no.
She asks that, but first she wants to know who influenced you vocally and theatrically.
Paul Early.
It's always the answer.
Vocally. So I haven't answered to this. I've thought a lot about this, I guess. So I would say when people ask like, ooh, like how do you sound? Like how would you want to sound? Like I would say like if John Legend and Adele had a baby, but Adele and John Legend after having me, they like separated, and then I was raised by Leon Bridges.
Oh my gosh!
I would say like that's like when I hear myself, like that's the kind of the artist I want to be. Like if I could create that artist like between those three people, like that's like the music I want to make, and not only because of their voices, but because like when I hear their music, to like when I play a playlist with those three people on it, like I am like it's like meditation for me. I know that's like weird, but it's a different feeling. So yeah, those three artists are probably my biggest influences, and I think if like in my first song No Home, like I tried to incorporate many elements of like of all of those people, like it's kind of ballady, and I tried to have like some type of soul. Yeah, so I think that's like like those are my three artists, and like I'm writing a lot of songs now. And everyone does this, everyone stills. I know I'm just gonna say it, but like I am taking a lot of their ideas in my songs because like that's like the artist I see myself as. So yeah, I think musically for sure. Like those are my peeps.
But to borrow a term used earlier from Mr. Rodney Bettis, creamy. Like when I listen to that song that you did, it's like, oh, sorry. It's yeah. So when you say those artists together and yeah, it's like pouring like syrup on your ice cream. Like it just, oh man.
I'm glad you
I think-
finished that phrase
I
because I
think
thought
we
you were
need to-
starting something else.
We need to add that to the bingo card just for tonight. Anytime the dad's description of Ben's voice gets like a little weird.
Yeah. So,
Sorry, Ben.
the bingo card. Her follow-up though is what was referenced earlier, that could you serenade us a little this evening with some Ilona, and
Okay.
Luna.
it was one of her favorites apparently.
It was, but I want to reference the fact that, so we've already discussed Dana's technical difficulties this evening, and I need you to know, Ben, that like 10 minutes ago, he asked me how to pronounce Ilona, and I just typed the word back to him, and he said, how do you say it? And I just typed it again. So he just Googled the pronunciation.
Is that why
That's
you
not a burn,
disappeared?
is it? Oh.
Disappeared and muted yourself, and so that
It's
you could
hard.
learn how to pronounce it.
It looks like two L's all the time.
Yes, I didn't know. I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it
And
looks
I've
like
seen the
Luna.
show. Like okay.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
He sings two epic songs in the show. One of them is that It's Been Grand Knowing You, which is amazing. But Ilona is just beautiful. This would make Cynthia happy. It would make Jennifer Hargis so happy.
I missed
All
you.
she wants to do is hear Ben sing. So Ben, just a teensy bit of Ilona.
Just like a couple bars, verse, chorus, something, man. Come on.
First chorus.
I'm trying to think of like the key it's in. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna start at any key, and I'm probably gonna be all over the place. But I knew I was gonna sing on this thing. I was like, I'm probably gonna ask you to sing something. Cool. Yeah. So this is a song I sang to my lover, to Adrian. Okay. Come with me, Ilona. I missed you so much. Oh, that's better. How I envy you each evening when work is through, for I have only me to be with while you have you. Together, Ilona. Four different keys. I don't know what key this is in. It's forgot. How long my lonely nights have grown. Why deny that it's yours, Ilona? You feel it, I know. Let's help it to grow. Something like that.
Yes.
It's a hard song to sing. Oh my gosh! Like,
Man.
it's in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. I couldn't. I was like Rodney, you have this silly smile on your face that you can't. I couldn't. I was like, smile
yes.
could not go away. Is awesome. Thank you.
Ben, oh my gosh, thank you so much. We have a couple of things to kind of knock out before we wrap everything up. Next, I'm going to transition, and this is actually a very appropriate question. So this is a segment called Dear Daddy, where our wonderful theater company family submits questions to me to ask their fatherly figures, the Diva Dads. And this is very good for you, considering that you just drove across country to move in the middle of the pandemic, and then on the way stayed with an ICU nurse on an Airbnb. But the question, okay, I want to get it right. Dear Daddy, do you have any advice for avoiding the coronavirus, considering that this town is pretending that it never happened?
Girl, I feel ya.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's interesting because the masks are actually protection for others, right? So whenever you go out and you see people without masks, it's almost like, oh, and yes, the ones from TTC is where you should get them. That's the only ones.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been driving through town, and I came home from a from a rehearsal the other night, and I drove past yesterday's, and the parking lot was freaking packed. Like, it was just insane. Like, and I love yesterday's, but you know, I just don't understand why people just think that nothing's happening. But you know, the best thing to protect yourself is to stay at home. Just keep doing what we have been doing, is stay at home and stay socially distant, and you know, wear your mask, because unlike certain leaders in our country, leadership by example is important. So you know, wear your mask, and hopefully others will do the same, and maybe have a little bit of empathy for their neighbors.
Here's hoping, man. That's good advice. Protect yourself, respect each other, don't be a jerk. Yeah.
Well, and if I can, again, anytime Rodney talks, apparently I have to
I've noticed
add
that.
to it. But I posted something on Facebook after going to the grocery store.
I saw that.
I
had thought.
It was ridiculous, and I felt so dirty when I left the grocery store. Because you know, we're trying to, like, I stay home all the time unless I'm going to get my food from the village for the subscription, or
not a sponsor, but should be.
No, should be of a sponsor, absolutely. or going to the theater. I just went to the theater for a meeting, but we kept social distancing. We wiped everything down and put everything away, and you know, I'm at the grocery, and it's just like, you know, all this stuff that people are touching and rubbing their face and touching their groceries, and it's on this, what I call the rubber belt of death or whatever, conveyor belt. And it didn't make sense to me that I get up to pay for my stuff, and, well, they have a screen there to protect you and to protect them. It's like, what about all the stuff that everybody's touching? And yeah.
Okay, I have a comment on that.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm in Nashville now. I moved from Boston. In Boston, literally, like, till this day, my friends have been sending me pictures. It's like the pandemic just started. Like, everything is shut down. Restaurants are not open. There's no phases. They are literally, like, crazy. Well, going from that and then coming to Nashville, oh my God! Like, I've seen like 2 masks since I've been here. Like, been in I'm also guilty. Sorry, I've been in restaurants. Like, I just had a team happy hour with my work coworkers yesterday. Like, it's just like the pandemic never happened. Like, that's a thing. But then I go into Publix. That's like the thing here, the grocery store here, and like, this person they have on gloves and a mask, which is fine. But then I see them, like, pick up their phone with their gloves on that they're protecting themselves from COVID from, I guess. I don't know. And then they're, like, picking up an apple. And then they're, like, at the register, pulling their wallet out of their pocket with the same gloves. I'm like, you realize, like, gloves aren't, like, immune to, like, you can still get, like, diseases on. Like, why are you wearing gloves? If you're going to touch everything the same with your hands, like, why do you have them?
See, this is why that question is perfect. And apparently not just for the Bryan College Station community, because no one's doing it right. And, you know, when it comes to the grocery store, there's so much that is done poorly. And so I have to give a little golf clap for, like, the few things that are done right. Because unfortunately, our health and safety is not just what we do for ourselves, but it's what the people do around us. And that's what sucks, is because you cannot control or, you know, make other people make good choices when it comes to not doing all these terrible things. So keep Clorox wipes in your cars, wipe down your dang groceries, wear your mask and carry hand sanitizer, and do the best you can, because most people around you are not.
Yep.
Moral of the story.
Yep.
We're going to mosey on. Thanks for that, Dear Daddy advice, Rodney. That was very good. We're going to pull up a quick photo. Yes, Dana. So, Ben, what we do is whenever you go to the theater company's website, you scroll all the way down to the bottom. There's a randomly generated photo taken by Alan Bryant of his, like, years of contributing to our shows. And it's always a totally random photo. And then we kind of check in on it and talk a little bit about it.
All right. So we have TTC's website. Kids camps. There's two more.
There's 1 week left.
1 week left right here. Oh, the bottom. Right
We're
here.
about to add some more though, so yay.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Scroll on down and we have a
Bye bye birdie. Cool.
well, this is special for Rodney's nice shirts.
Oh my gosh.
I love this. Oh my gosh. So this is from Bye Bye Birdie. Okay, so this guy is Scott Mills, which is one of Ben's original co-stars from Beauty and the Beast. He was Gaston.
He's so typecast.
I know. Do y'all see the little girl in the white cardigan that's clutched around his leg?
This one here, yeah.
That is gymnast icon superstar Kate Moore.
Oh, I see it now. Yes. She's so little.
Isn't she cute as a button?
So cute.
Oh my gosh. And then back up here in the red little cherry dress, that's our Mary Poppins, Cassidy James. Awesome. And then I want to point out Abby Oxley in the pink dress. She played Kim, so she was one of the leads in that show. She was cute as can be, wonderful performer, and she's like leading up her own theater education program out in the Dallas area, Dallas Fort Worth. I can't remember exactly where they are, but she's like teaching the kids and spreading theater. So yay, Abby!
Awesome sauce.
That's
That's
so
awesome.
great. Yeah, Bye Bye Birdie was an amazing show. Also featuring the magic of Paul Early. So perfect.
Of course.
It can't be good without Paul.
Only when he says Taylor.
Oh my gosh. Like I've never told him that and I feel bad, but like I learned so much from him. And he's never like taught me anything on purpose. Like if that makes any sense. Like I just like watching him, like I went, yeah. So like
I have to interject because I do learn from Paul a lot, whether he means it or not. And for example, I got mansplained how to search, find, and replace words in a document yesterday. And I stared at him. Until he finally, and then he had to slink away because I wasn't our best interaction of that day.
No, but he's so, like, he just, like, literally knows things, and I'm like, how do you know this? Like what school do you go to learn stuff?
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of learning new things, Rodney.
Yes, so a weekly segment that we've just come to love and adore is our beautiful Jennifer Riley with this week's Fun Fact of the Week.
Ooh.
Howdy, Diva Dads. Happy almost end of the week. This is your fun fact correspondent, Jennifer, here, saying ahoy. And the reason I'm saying ahoy is because today's fun fact is about the history of how we used to answer the telephone. So today we say usually hello, hi, when we answer a telephone. Hopefully we not those two things together. However, Alexander Graham Bell, who holds the patent for the telephone, suggested that everyone answer the phone by saying ahoy, and he continued to do so until the time of his death. So if you are looking for a way to change up the way you answer a phone, especially in this time of social distancing, feel free to throw an ahoy in there and see what kind of conversations get started from that. That's all for this week, but I look forward to speaking with y'all again soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
Ahoy.
Ahoy.
Awesome.
Who answers the phone anymore?
I
Who
certainly
answers
don't.
the phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Not me.
We have phones.
Yeah, I text on them.
Yeah, me too.
I'm old, so I'm
All
like,
right.
I just want to talk to somebody.
All right, Ben, we want to kind of give you a moment to tell us a little bit about your music and where to find you and follow you. The other thing I want to do is kind of give you a moment. One of the reasons we started texting this week in our conversation was like, what do we do? Like, what can I do? How can I be an ally? How can we be supportive? And your answer was like, talk. Start the conversation. And we have had amazing conversation today, obviously. But we didn't have that conversation, which is fine. That's fine. We needed to talk about music and your voice that they say inappropriate things about. Oh God. Okay. But I guess without getting into it, I want to know how you're doing. Like, how are you?
Yeah. So do you want me to start with the music piece first?
Yeah.
So my music, yeah. So I actually recently, like a couple months ago, 1 month ago, I built a website finally, and it has a lot of like my music stuff and like my like just like pictures. So it's Benji Uzo, BenjiUzo. That's my artist name, BenjiUzo.com. So it's like pretty simple, straightforward. So on that website, there's a link to everything I've ever done musically. So there's like YouTube link, there's Spotify, there's Apple Music, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, like, literally. So my website has like everything. There's also like my first single, my only single, on the website as well. So you can listen to it on there. I'm going to start putting videos on there soon. Soon. I don't know when. So things like that. So yeah, my website will have the most up-to-date information. And so yeah, that you can find me on there. And it's Benji Uzo everywhere. So like you can like go to Facebook or go to like Instagram or whatever. Like you just if you type in Benji Uzo, luckily I'm the only person named Benji Uzo in this world, and it's so great because I'm like, yeah, artist name, like, unique. So yeah, you can find it just by Googling it. You'll find it. But no, I'm glad you brought that up. I think so. I mean, as you can probably imagine, like people have been reaching out and saying like, oh, obviously, like this is in the news. Like, what can I do? What can we do? But okay, so one thing I do want to say, and this wasn't like you, Adrian, who did this, but like I have friends who reached out to me and saying like, oh my God, like can you please tell me like where to start? Like where are my resources? And to be honest with you, I'm just gonna be like kind of blunt here. I don't think that it is like my job to like tell you where to start to learn about Black oppression in America. Like I think, and then so I mean, it's been hard for me to reply to these people because I'm like, this isn't new. like nothing that's happening is new. Like right, we've been oppressed forever for 400 years, right? So my thing is like we all have Google. So like if you just Google like anything, that's where you start. Like you start with that. Like that's kind of my like that's been my like my internal thoughts because I'm like I love these people, but like I want to help them understand like it. Like I'm not gonna be like, ooh, like let me give you this book by like this, by Malcolm X, right, for you to read, and then say, oh my God, like so and so, thank you so much for reading this book about Black history. Like that's, and like maybe that's wrong. Like I don't know. I'm not an activist. Like I don't do this stuff for a living, so maybe that's not the way to do it. But like that's not Ben's way. Like that's not how I want to do this. Like I'm not gonna be like read this stuff and then like report back to me so we can like no. It's my thing is like just like make yourself aware of what's going on because like to be honest, I think a lot of what I'm seeing on social media and like whatever Instagram, Facebook is it's social media. Like it's nothing happening. Like nothing is like happening. Like change, and I'm probably wrong for saying this, but I don't think change is happening because people are saying Black Lives Matter. Like does my life really matter because you put it in a hashtag? I don't think so. I don't think that's like what's happening. So seeing those hashtags, I'm not like, ah, yes, like finally my life matters. I'm like, damn, really? Like it took someone to like die on video for you to think that so I think that's how I like really feel, to be honest. But with that being said, I do think this time feels different. And I say this time meaning like George Floyd's death, Breonna Taylor, all these people that we've been talking about. Like I do think this feels very, 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 very different. Speaking to my family who were alive during like Rodney King era, like this just feels different. And mainly because like everyone, and I mean like literally like Mitt Romney, like what the hell?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to be political on this. I don't know if we do that, but like everyone is like talking about it. So I think, wow, so maybe there's opportunity somewhere. But I think for me, like personally, is like I'm so ready for the articles to stop being shared. Like not ready, but like I'm curious to see what'll happen when the articles will stop being shared, when social media goes back to talking about like the Kardashians, whatever, when things get back to like I keep saying normal, but I don't know what that is now. I'm curious to see what will happen because I went to a predominantly white university. I work at a predominantly white company, and people still are not equipped with the correct language. And just putting a hashtag does not make you aware of what's happening in our world. And like I don't know what it'll take for people to realize, like, you don't have to share things on social media to show that you support. Like, you really don't. Like, that doesn't do anything. Like, you don't have to do that. It's more about when you're off of social media, what are you doing? Like, that's what the movement is about. It's not about opening your phone and pressing share and then closing it and then doing and living your life the way you've been living it before. That's not a movement. Like, the movement is, get off of my phone, let me go talk to my family who won't allow my black friends to come over because they don't trust them. Like, that's the movement. The movement is like, get off of my phone, let me go talk to my friend, my girlfriend who won't date black guys because of whatever her reasons are. Like, that's the movement. The movement isn't on Facebook, oh, I press share, like, Black Lives Matter, like, hashtag, like, I love y'all. Like, that's not the movement. And I think, I don't know what it'll take for people to realize that. Like, the movement is you getting off of your phone. Like, that's kind of how I see it. So, I don't know. That's like my whole thing, but I think that's kind of been my energy, like, lately, because, yeah, it's like, if you're not changing your ideas internally, you can share all you want. You can literally share till you're blue in the face, and in a year from now, we're gonna see another Black Death. So, anyway, I didn't mean to, like, go on this whole thing, but, like, that's in my head.
That's what I wanted to know, but, that's what we wanted to hear. Not what we wanted to hear, but we wanted to hear what you had to say about it.
Yeah.
But I'll say that, you're talking about the movement and how the movement's not on your phone. But what I will say is that the movement via social media is forcing people to reconcile with it. And it's forcing people, because I get it, like, you're tired of seeing articles and people are tired of seeing a lot. But for so many people, like you said, that were unaware that this is what's been going on for so long, they're the ones that need it. You don't need to know, but there's so many people that it's important for them to see this, because if they don't see it that way, they will never get off their phones and go change their minds or go change their actions.
And that's a great point. And I think that's a great point you call out. It's like, I'm so glad this is being shared. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think this is a great time. Like, social media is a perfect platform because I'm glued to my phone too. Everyone's glued to their phone. So it's like, good, be glued to that. So hands down, like, perfect is being shared. But I guess, like, and I hate that, like, these words I say, like, I don't want to discredit that by any means. No. But it's kind of like, I don't know, like,
this is a rerun for you. Like, you got it. For half of America, this is a brand new series. I don't know.
Well, and I think what I hear you saying as a white man who's lived with a lot of privilege all of his life, is that it's got to be action. Like, I can repost stuff and, whatever, all until I'm blue in the face. But until I go to the voting booth and vote for people in a lot of cases in local elections, because let's be honest, the Bryan police force is controlled by local officials. And so how the Bryan police force treats people in this community is affected by how local people, how local officials are, and so it's the onus is on me. And a high school, one of my high school friends posted, she was like, your white silence is heard. And I responded to her like, I don't really need you to assuage my guilt. It's not your job to assuage my guilt, my white guilt of, not engaging. And I think that's key there, is that it's not your job. It's not your job, Ben, to make me feel better about the fact that I've been inactive for, however long I have been. But yeah, it's important for us to vote and to, to be active in our community. And
Yeah.
you know, otherwise all this, you know, hashtags and whatever. It's just to make you feel better. You know.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen the white silencing all of social media. Like your white silence is whatever that is, and because people are again like that's my frustration. People are thinking like because so and so didn't share this critical article, like they are using their privilege. But like I know white friends who are not on social media and who have been talking about this for their entire lives. Like they don't have to get on social media and share it because like that's how they. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's different. Like, so don't feel pressured, like, to share something because people are like, you know, white silence is, that's not, because I'm not sharing something doesn't mean that's not how I live, you know? So I don't know. It's tough. Like, I've seen that and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like the idea of like, because you weren't sharing, like, you don't care about Black lives. Like, that's not how it works. Like, social media is a different world of its own. Like, you don't have to, everything in your life doesn't have to be displayed on these platforms.
Amen.
I don't think that's.
You know what's cool is that I don't know if it's cool, but the Diva Dads are like 3 white dudes, and but yet we are theater people. Oh, so the Diva Dads are 3 white guys. Dobby, our lovely
leader,
director, and keeps us in line. So what I think has been really interesting about how this last few weeks have kind of played out, Ben, honestly, is we've provided like in a privileged way, but we had this platform of a video series and web series, and why not use it to showcase and show people the not in a weird way, but just the beauty of what all people have to offer. And we've done that in every single show that we've done, the beauty of what people have to offer.
Yeah.
And so if we get on a topic like this, we did a little bit last week with Tyler and Dustin. We've done a little bit now this week. And it goes back to that artistry piece of who I am, who you are, who we all are, of we're going to do what the muse is leading us to do in this time and in this platform. And so I appreciate, and we appreciate you sharing those. Those are that's some deep stuff there, man. And
and I didn't know we would get this.
No, it's good. It's good. And like you
wanted.
said, conversation. That's what you led with. Talk about stuff. Talk about it. Conversation. I won't go into detail, but Dobson and I had a long conversation one night, just her and I, about all this kind of stuff.
Rodney was there.
Well, he was falling asleep and left. We were still on 2 hours
He
after.
wasn't falling asleep. He was just waiting to get a word in.
So, no, man, we really appreciate you sharing that, and really appreciate the opportunity that you have provided us to hear about your story and hear about what you want to do and where you want to go, and those things that might be in your way, might not. What can we do to help? And I think this is a good opportunity for you to share this video, plug for us, to show that, kind of your dynamic and what you have to offer as a person too. So thank you so much, man.
No, thank you for having me. I think I didn't mention this, but like, I'm kind of sad that TTC isn't, okay. It's in such a small community, but like it is needed like in so many areas of the world. Like this community, seriously, like I kid you not. Like I lived in Boston for a year, loved Boston, don't get me wrong, but moved there thinking, oh, everyone in Boston is like progressive and like it's the East Coast and like that's just what people are. No, that's not. At least that wasn't my 1 year of experience. Maybe I should have been longer. And then I'm like, even moving there, I'm like, wow, like y'all don't realize like the world is so much more than this, like the New England area, So even that, and then being here for 2 weeks, like I kid you not, 2 weeks, I've been thinking, I'm like, oh my god, like I just wish people can just like have these kind of communities where you walk in and you literally forget everything that happened in your past and you're just present. Like I don't even know how to describe like TTC. I don't have to because everyone on the call knows, but like to someone that's watching this, like the community that this small theater company in Bryan College Station like has created, like the community, like whatever. Like it's so important. It's so important. And I don't know, Adrian doesn't realize this, but like woman, like you are changing lives. Like seriously. Like I kid you not.
I keep telling her that.
I know.
Like I don't know. It's anyway.
Well, and you know, I know that we're trying to get to wrap up because I know.
Sorry, yeah, I know.
But but I do need to say that it's the onus is almost on you, Ben, because we, you know, the community that's here at TTC is amazing, and we lament the fact that this phenomenal talent comes in and on and off of our stage. But the amazing thing about the TTC stage is that it isn't such a transient place where people come and they go and they come and they go and they come and they go. But the thing is that if you just take that experience of TTC being only a place, you know, it's only in that building in the Tejas Center, and that's the only place that it can be, then it's lost, because it only has a certain impact on the Bryan College Station community. But the fact that you guys that come in and out, that you come to school and you experience TTC and you go off into the world, you go to Austin, you go to Boston, you go to Tennessee, and it's now the onus is on you. You have experienced that kind of community, and then it's on you to take it with you. Yeah, and it's on you, and it's not just you. It's on all the other people. I mean, we talked to people in Dads After Dark that are in New York City and all over the country, and the onus is now on those people to recreate that community. And it started with Randy Wilson, and it's continued with Adrian Dobson, and you know, it's something that it's special. But it doesn't have to be special to this place. It can be special all over the place.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I love having that responsibility. I don't know why. I just, like, I really do. I don't know. I think the older I've gotten, the more I, like, have forced, like, I don't know. My friends probably don't. I don't have many close friends because of that. No, I feel like I've forced people to have, like, these kind of conversations because it's so important. And I know it gets annoying, and people listening are probably like, oh, it's probably annoying that this happens, but, like, it's so freeing to be able to like look at someone and like see like just like them, and right, and it's just and not see like how they look, what they're wearing, what color their hair is, and like just like to be able to just be like, wow, like that's you, and accept it, like fully accept it. That's a skill of its own that you have to work on developing, and this is a community where that really started for me, for sure. So yeah, anyway, we can talk about this more, but like all day, but
I know Dana's trying to get the last word in because Rodney just talked, but it's officially Mike's turn to.
All right, guys. Well, that is a wrap on episode 6. Thank you, Ben. We really appreciate it. Also, if you're watching, make sure you check us out on TTCDivaDads.com, where you can choose to connect with us the way you want to via social media. And also, Dana's going to be posting a link in Facebook for Dads After Dark, so make sure you look for the link and join us, okay? And that's a wrap.
Love you guys. Thank you, Ben.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Ben.